A world in peril, 7 habitats on the brink. Have you ever considered the fragile ecosystems around the world that are at risk due to climate change? These intricate webs of life, from the towering peaks of mountains to the vibrant coral reefs beneath the waves, are facing unprecedented challenges as our planet warms. As global temperatures rise and weather patterns shift, certain habitats face severe threats that could lead to irreversible damage. These vulnerable ecosystems are not just home to diverse species, they also provide essential services to our planet. They regulate our climate, purify our air and water, and provide us with food and resources. Let's explore 7 of the most vulnerable habitats affected by climate change and the urgent need for conservation efforts. Alpine ecosystems, islands in the sky. High above the tree line, where the air is thin and the weather harsh, lie the world's alpine ecosystems. These breathtaking landscapes are home to a remarkable array of life that has adapted to thrive in this challenging environment. But these islands in the sky are now on the front lines of climate change. As temperatures rise, alpine species are facing a shrinking habitat. The glaciers that feed these ecosystems are retreating, threatening the delicate balance of life. Imagine the pika, a small mammal that makes its home among the rocks and boulders. As temperatures rise, they seek refuge at higher elevations where habitat is scarce. This story is playing out across the alpine world, from the Rockies to the Himalayas. Grasslands, a sea of green under threat. From the vast savannas of Africa to the rolling prairies of North America, grasslands cover a quarter of the Earth's land surface. These seemingly endless expanses of grass and sky support a remarkable diversity of life, from herds of grazing animals to birds of prey soaring overhead. Grasslands are not only vital for wildlife, but they also play a crucial role in sustaining human life, providing grazing land for livestock and fertile soil for agriculture. But these vital ecosystems are facing a growing number of threats, many of them driven by human activities. Climate change is exacerbating these threats, leading to more frequent and severe droughts, which can devastate grassland ecosystems. As temperatures rise and rainfall patterns become more erratic, the delicate balance that sustains these ecosystems is being disrupted. The Nature Conservancy reports that many grassland ecosystems have already been altered, and climate change could push them further toward degradation. The consequences of this degradation are far-reaching. Grasslands act as massive carbon sinks, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. As these ecosystems degrade, they release this stored carbon, further contributing to climate change. In addition, the loss of grasslands can lead to soil erosion, desertification, and a decline in biodiversity. Temperate forests, the lungs of our planet under stress. Imagine walking through a temperate forest, the sunlight filtering through the canopy, the air alive with the sounds of birdsong and the rustling of leaves. These forests, found in regions with moderate rainfall and distinct seasons, are home to a rich tapestry of life, from towering trees to delicate ferns. They play a vital role in regulating our planet's climate. Acting as massive carbon sinks, they absorb carbon dioxide and store it in their wood, leaves, and soil. But these ecosystems are facing increasing pressure from climate change. Rising temperatures and more frequent droughts are taking their toll. Many tree species in North America are projected to decline due to climate-related stresses. For example, the iconic sugar maple is particularly vulnerable to drought and warmer temperatures. As these forests change, so too will the wildlife that depends on them. The black-capped chickadee relies on conifer seeds for food during the winter. As tree distributions shift, chickadee populations may decline. Chapter 4. Wetlands, often overlooked and underappreciated, are among the most productive ecosystems on Earth. These areas, where water covers the soil for at least part of the year, are teeming with life. From the vibrant green of freshwater marshes to the tangled roots of mangrove forests, wetlands provide essential habitat for a staggering array of plants and animals. But wetlands are also incredibly vulnerable to climate change. Rising sea levels, altered precipitation patterns, and increasing temperatures are all putting these vital ecosystems at risk. The Ramsar Convention, an international treaty dedicated to the conservation and sustainable use of wetlands, estimates that 64% of the world's wetlands have been lost since the 1900s. As wetlands disappear, so too do the vital services they provide. Wetlands act as natural sponges, absorbing excess rainfall and reducing the risk of flooding. They also filter pollutants from the water, improving water quality, and they act as carbon sinks, storing vast amounts of carbon and helping to regulate our planet's climate. The loss of wetlands has far-reaching consequences, not only for the plants and animals that depend on them, but also for human communities around the world. Chapter 5. Mangrove forests, guardians of the coast on the front lines. On the front lines of our planet's battle with climate change stand the mangrove forests. These remarkable ecosystems, found along tropical and subtropical coastlines, are characterized by their tangled roots that rise from the water, creating a unique and vital habitat. Mangroves are incredibly resilient, able to withstand the harsh conditions of saltwater, strong winds, and fluctuating tides. But even these hardy ecosystems are struggling to cope with the impacts of climate change. Rising sea levels are inundating these coastal forests, while increasing ocean temperatures and acidity threaten the delicate balance of life within these ecosystems. According to the Global Mangrove Alliance, approximately 35% of mangroves have been lost over the past few decades. The consequences of this loss are dire. Mangroves act as natural barriers, protecting coastlines from erosion and storm surges. They also provide essential habitat for a wide variety of marine life, including fish, crabs, and shellfish. Many coastal communities rely on mangroves for their livelihoods, using them for fishing, timber, and tourism. Chapter 6. Coral reefs. Rainforests of the sea in peril. Beneath the waves of our oceans lies a world of vibrant color and astonishing biodiversity. The coral reefs, often referred to as the rainforests of the sea, coral reefs are among the most diverse ecosystems on Earth, supporting a dazzling array of marine life. But these underwater wonderlands are facing an uncertain future. Climate change is warming our oceans, and this is having a devastating impact on coral reefs. Corals are highly sensitive to changes in water temperature. As the ocean warms, corals expel the symbiotic algae that live within their tissues, causing them to turn white, a phenomenon known as coral bleaching. Bleached corals are not dead, but they are more susceptible to disease and death. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, reports that up to 50% of coral reefs have been lost in the last 30 years. This is a tragedy not only for the marine life that depends on coral reefs, but also for the millions of people around the world who rely on these ecosystems for food, livelihoods, and coastal protection. Chapter 7. Arctic Tundra, a frozen world in flux. At the top of our planet lies a vast and seemingly barren landscape, the Arctic Tundra. This frozen world, characterized by permafrost, low-lying vegetation, and long, dark winters, is home to a unique array of plants and animals that have adapted to thrive in this extreme environment. But the Arctic is warming faster than any other region on Earth, and the tundra is undergoing dramatic changes. As temperatures rise, the permafrost that underlies much of the Arctic is thawing, releasing methane, a potent greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere. This thawing permafrost is also causing the ground to become unstable, leading to landslides and erosion. The loss of sea ice, another consequence of climate change, is having a profound impact on Arctic wildlife. Polar bears, for example, rely on sea ice as a platform from which to hunt seals. As the ice melts earlier in the spring and freezes later in the fall, polar bears have less time to hunt, which is leading to declines in their populations. The National Snow and Ice Data Center reports that Arctic sea ice extent has declined significantly, threatening the delicate balance of this unique ecosystem. The Arctic tundra is a fragile ecosystem, and the rapid changes it is experiencing are a stark reminder of the urgency of addressing climate change. Outer our collective responsibility, protecting our planet's future. As we've journeyed across the globe, from the towering peaks of mountains to the depths of our oceans, we've witnessed the profound impacts of climate change on some of our planet's most vulnerable habitats. The impacts of climate change on these vulnerable habitats are profound and far-reaching, threatening not only the species that inhabit them, but also the vital ecosystem services they provide. From the Arctic tundra to coral reefs and wetlands, these ecosystems require urgent attention and action to mitigate the effects of climate change. The loss of these ecosystems would be a tragedy, not only for the countless species that depend on them, but also for humanity. We rely on these ecosystems for clean air and water, food, medicine, and protection from natural disasters. Their loss would have far-reaching consequences for our planet and for generations to come. By prioritizing conservation efforts and promoting sustainable practices, we can help protect these fragile habitats for future generations. What steps do you think are necessary to address these climate challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's work together to raise awareness and inspire action.